there. Hello, hello. Hi, Crystal. Hi. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes before I get started. Oh, you can hear that. Oops. I'm always thinking that I have my music turned down low enough where nobody can hear it. Crystal, I'll have to find my molds. I shoved them in a drawer somewhere. We'll find them. Hi, 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 hi. I'm gonna wipe down my cup with acetone while I'm waiting, just in case there's any type of residue on it. Hi, Mindy. You guys, this is the easiest wood grain ever. I tried doing it, I tried following some of the wood grain tutorials, and I couldn't figure it out. Not so much I couldn't figure it out as I wasn't stoked on the results, I guess. So I started just kind of like playing with it a little bit and coming up with a process that makes sense to me. I thought I'd share. It's the flip and drip, y'all. Flip and drip. The container of acetone I bought in the nail supply section of Rite Aid. Rite Aid where the nail stuff is. It comes in the pump and I just refill it. You screw the lid off and refill it. So it's the same process for... I'm going to flip you guys around because the other direction you can see better. Okay, so this is just a clear coat. It's not epoxied, but this is the same process with the darker wood. Ooh, it's looking a little choppy. I hope I don't lose you guys. And then this is what I'm going to show you how to do on this video. See, there's a couple spots that I need to touch up, which isn't a big deal. I'm going to show you how to avoid doing this and how to get these little marks in here where it looks like it's weather worn. Okay, so let me turn you guys right around over here where you can see what's going on. I'm going to try my best to make sure that I am showing you guys what I'm doing, as well as answering any comments that you have. And this is going to be probably a little bit more of a lengthy video than what I would normally do, but I have to do this start to finish to show you guys like exactly what the process is, and I didn't want to skip any steps. So what I have, let's start there. I have my space heater. It's a what is it? It's a Holmes. I had to get all close to it. It's a Holmes brand space heater, and I have my my little cup turner thingy, my cup display sitting in front of it. I have assorted paintbrushes. Oh my gosh, choppy, you guys. Oh no. I have assorted paintbrushes, and I prefer these real bristly ones when I'm doing wood grain, like this one, because they just look better. I have my spray bottle of alcohol, and then I have my alcohol inks. Now, oh man, I know it's choppy and breaking up, huh? Hold on. 1 minute, hold on. I tried to turn some things off that are draining the Wi-Fi. Is that better? Oh. It's live, guys. Okay. Is it breaking up still? Hey. This is gonna make me so angry if this video gives me a hard time. Okay. Okay. Sorry, you guys are all in my grill, but I'm like right up by my tripod so I can turn you around and you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so I have 3 alcohol inks that I made. And I made them using the dye from Alumilite in the color brown. Hold that there for a second if anybody wants a screenshot. Okay. I also used, in one of them, I used some cheap acrylic paint. This color is Rainy Day. It's just a cloudy gray. I'm also going to be using, for the cup itself, white acrylic paint. Okay, so for the dies that I made, okay, this one I put, excuse me, I think I put 1 drop. 1 drop of the brown dye into this bottle. So just 1 drop into this bottle, and see when I swish it around how it leaves a little bit of a brown on there, but it's not too dark, because I wanted to have a lighter alternative to blend with. Now on the other bottle, I think I put 4 or 5 drops. This one doesn't do what this one does. This one is deeper and more concentrated. No. If you're having, do you have the dye, Corey? If you have the dyes, you have to cut the tip off. Okay, you have to cut the tip off. If you didn't cut the tip off, do so immediately. It looks like it's a regular dropper tip, but it's not. It's actually closed in there. Okay, I also used, come on, a little bit of teak wood. I would cut it off more, absolutely. And I would also maybe see if you can't stick a toothpick or something in there to see if maybe there's an obstruction. So on the lighter color, let me shake this up. The lighter color that I used on here to get this lightness, I took the same process as I did here, where I filled the alcohol up halfway. This is a little bit more than half, but I filled it up halfway. I put just barely 1 drop of the brown dye into the bottle, and then I put a little squirt of the gray acrylic paint into the bottle. That's what made this lighter opaque color. Okay, let's get right into it. Since I talked about the dyes, I'm going to paint the cup and show you guys how I dry it pretty quick so that I can move on to the next step. I somehow left my paint open and it's got a little dry spot in there, so I'm just going to dump some out. Now, when I'm painting the cup with acrylic paint, I don't really worry about brush strokes too much because it's going to it's gonna wood grain. Like I'm gonna put a wood grain on it. So a little bit of brush strokes in there isn't gonna hurt anything. It's actually gonna help it look more realistic. So I just concentrate on covering the cup, and I want to make sure that when I'm painting, I kind of slop it on there really like unintentionally at first, I guess, and then I go back over really quick and take my brush from top to bottom. The brush strokes don't bother me, but I want them to be even from top to bottom, if that makes sense. I don't want there to be splotches in the middle. I wish my music would play. I mean, my music will play, but I think it's having so many devices running on my Wi-Fi, I think it's affecting my... I'm flinging paint everywhere, you guys, look. The white that I'm doing here is not mixed. Yes. I have a football attached to my PVC. And these attach right to my turner. Don't forget to do the bottom, you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to go through really quick with my brush, and I'm just going to smooth from top to bottom, making sure I'm getting in these little, in there, in that thing right there that doesn't, I don't know, does that have a name? The seal? Just taking my brush strokes from top to bottom. And it doesn't even, they don't have to be straight up and down, because this is just going to be the first coat. Anyways, I'm going to do 2 coats. So I usually turn my heater on. I turn it on high. And when I don't, excuse me, I dry the bottom first. It's just acrylic paint. So I hold it in front of the heater and I dry the bottom first. Need to sing the Jeopardy song. And it usually dries really, really fast. I did not sand the cup before I painted it. I cleaned it with acetone to get any oils off of it. I only use hogs. I am hog exclusive. Okay, so once the bottom is dry, then I just set it on this thing and I let it turn in front of my heater for a minute. It's a rotating display is what I searched. I searched mirrored rotating display because the mirror is easier to clean up. If you get paint and whatnot on it, it's easier to clean. What I've noticed about that spinner though, I haven't replaced my battery in it in a while, so. Why just hogs? For me, I like consistency. And when my customer comes to me and they order a 20-ounce cup, I want to make sure that I get a lot of repeat business. So I want to make sure that when they come back and they order another 20-ounce cup, or they're ordering a gift for somebody, it's not a bunch of different types of cups. And by sticking with the hogs, I can guarantee that my cups are all consistent and they look intentional and they look professional. Also, the cups are amazing. I love hogs. So the customer service is great. Irene is fantastic. And I absolutely love the cups. I wouldn't stick with them if they were terrible quality. I did that. Sandy, you might have to watch the video back. I went over what I mixed in to make the colors. What you would have to do is you'd have to mix according to how light or dark you want yours to be. Caitlin, the consistency is everything. Like, because I was getting cups from Walmart and then they got taken off the shelves, and then, you know, it's just like a lot of back and forth, and why does this one look different than that one? And I just didn't want to deal with all that. So it's totally okay, Sandy. You don't have to be sorry. I just, I don't want to spend a lot of time repeating too many things because this is already going to be a semi-long video. Okay, here we go. So that is dry enough to do the second coat. Let me turn my light back on, okay? Basically the same thing. I'm just gonna slop some paint on there. And then I'm gonna take my brush and go from top to bottom to smooth it through. And I do 2 coats because I do want the base of this to be pretty solid. And when you start adding the alcohol inks to it, it can rub off the paint. So you kind of want to give yourself a little bit more wiggle room. Irene's got a sale going on for the hogs, if you guys missed it. I know she's pretty good about posting in all the different places, but I have hiccups, you guys. I'm so sorry. Coating the bottom really quick, and I kind of take my paintbrush in a little bit of a swirling pattern on the bottom so that it will replicate that look of the end of a tree trunk. Like if you cut open a tree trunk, like it's got that circular end of a tree trunk. That's not right. I shouldn't be allowed to talk. Sorry guys, I know I'm off camera, but I had to be able to see what I was doing. Okay. Stay. Same thing, I'm going to dry the bottom. Yeah, the rings. That's what I'm talking about. Because I don't always have time to spray paint. The reason why I'm using acrylic paint instead of spray painting is because I don't always have time to spray paint my cups ahead of time. And in the case of the rustic wood cup that I did, I did that with acrylic paint. So in order to truly show you how that was done, I have to recreate exactly how I did it. Sandy, search for FeatherBear Designs on YouTube and click subscribe. I feel so cheap saying that. Just drying the bottom of this. I'm trying to make sure I catch all you guys' comments as well. Cup spinning in front of my... Okay, so my cup spinner in front of my fan, how fast does it complete a circle? Yours was 1.5 minutes? I don't know. Let's time it. I'm putting the hog. Anybody want to start a timer? I'm putting the hog emblem right in front of me. Right here's the H. It's right here. I got about 19 seconds. You get different results from the acrylic paint because as you start using the alcohols, it moistens the acrylic paint and gives you a little bit of that opaque blend. Okay, so that's drying. I have stuff all over my hands. I don't attach, okay, so I'll show you here. I do not attach these to my single turner. My single turner, I have the football attached to the bar. These go on my multi-turner. Robin, we have a video on our YouTube. My husband goes over how he built the multi-cup turner with these football arms. You can check out the YouTube and see if maybe that'll answer some of your questions, and you can also pull some screenshots from there as to how they attach, because he goes over that. Okay, so that's dry. Whoop. Rotating back the other direction. Turning off the heater. Oh, my nose itches. Alrighty, guys. So now I'm just gonna get right into it. So the, excuse me, the method that I used to obtain these types of markings on the cup is what I'm gonna call the flip and drip method. So I'm gonna start with the lighter color, the one that I mixed, one drop of brown Alumilite dye with 91% isopropyl alcohol and a little squirt of gray acrylic paint. That's what's in here. Okay? I will have to go back and see if I can find the Amazon or eBay link to the spinner that I have. But I can do that after I'm done with this video. Okay, so the way that I do this, I have my brush ready, and I literally, let me see guys, let me get you, hold on, let's do this. I'm going to move you a little bit. I'm going to sit behind the tripod and reach around. Okay. Cool. Can you guys see that okay? Alrighty, so I go to the very top of the cup, and then I literally take my brush and brush downwards. And then I repeat that process all the way down. I take my brush from top to bottom. I just dropped my paintbrush. It helps if you don't do that. One second, guys. Now I keep my cup sitting straight up and down so that when I'm doing my drips, they're running straight down the cup. Oops. Now if you need to, I just go in. Here, let me see if I can back this up a little bit. I have a very large tripod, you guys. It's like, it's all in my way. I hope my arm's not in the way. I will go in and drop a couple more drips if I need to take the brush all the way down to the bottom and I didn't quite reach the bottom. I'll just put another drip on there and then take it down to the bottom. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep up on comments as well as focus on making sure I'm telling you guys everything I'm doing. Okay? Okay, I'm almost back around to the other side. This would be so much easier if I was left-handed. I wonder if I can... I might be able to do it with my left hand. This is 1 drop of brown dye from Alumilite.com and a little squeeze of gray acrylic paint in a little bottle of alcohol. You may be able to use the teak wood, but I don't know if it would be as concentrated. As you start going back over it, like when I go back around, I believe you can get the dye at Hobby Lobby. So if you don't have the dye, then you may be able to use a little bit of a dark brown acrylic paint with the gray acrylic paint. So as I come back around and I start layering the drips, that's going to create variations of color. And I'm literally just like, I'm barely holding my paintbrush. Drop my paintbrush again because I'm reaching around a tripod. Okay, this is where the flip and drip comes in. So we dripped all the way around the top. Not all the way around. Like obviously I left some spaces open because I'm going to come back to that. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing. I wonder if I back you guys up. I'm not going to be able to see comments for a minute because I'm going to be like over here focusing on this, but I will come back to comments, okay? Guys, if I miss anything. Can you see that? Okay, So I want to make sure that I'm holding my cup as straight as I can. Like I don't want it to be tilted like this. I want it to be as straight as I can get it so that my drips, and you'll know if it's straight when you drip your ink on there. I go right to the base and I drip, and if your drip's not running straight, then you need to reassess the way you're holding your cup. Okay, so we're going to do that from both sides. So I'm going to go where I have any of these little white places here. As I start layering it, it's going to start getting darker in some spots. See the variations in color there? Let's see. Let me turn off that bright light there. Can you guys see okay? I will seal it once it's done. I will seal it with this. Okay, so I'm going to go back now. I flipped this direction and I got some in there. I'm not worried about the bottom because I'm going to visit that later. Now I'm going to go back through here and I'm going to create some of the darker spots. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do just a little bit of there. Being really mindful. I gotta move you guys because I'm right-handed and I'm struggling. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Okay, there we go. So put my drips on here, run my paintbrush down to get my variations of color. I will epoxy this, yes. I like Hobby Lobby for their home decor items. Okay, so now the darker colors come into play. So this is the bottle that I mixed up that it has about this much alcohol in it and 4 to 5 drops of the brown dye from Alumilite. Margette. So I'm going to start because I don't want this to be too dark. I'm going to start with, I'm having my brush ready. Start with the lighter color so that I moisten the cup there. I said moist. And then while it's still wet, I'm just going to put one little drop. Basically what I'm doing is I'm blending that with the lighter color. I knew that was going to trigger someone. And then I just go back with the lighter color, put 1 or 2 little drops in there, and continue spreading that out. What's happening, it's bringing the acrylic that I painted the base with, it's bringing that to the surface. and it's making everything mix. So when you get right up on it, it's still giving off that rustic looking wood grain effect. Now that same process, what I just did there, is how I create the knots as well. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to do a couple more spots with a little bit of the darker color so that it's, and what I do though, here I should cover this. So this one started from the top, I did dark, so I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the next one from the bottom so that they alternate sides. And I'm pressing down here and then I'm going lighter as I get downwards, and that's what's giving me those nice ridges and nice streaks there. I'm going to hit that one more time with the lighter color. Okay, and then I'm going to get just a little bit of the, trying to get in here so you guys can see what I'm doing and not really make a mess. A little bit of that darker one without getting too crazy, because I just want a little bit of variation in there. And then up here, I'll just take my brush, and you guys can't see what I'm doing because I don't have a good place to hold the camera. I can't show you guys how I do the bottom yet because I still need to set it down. So I'm not worried about the bottom. The bottom will be fine. Okay, so there's, see, this one comes down, this one goes up, this one goes down to a point, this one comes up, so the next one's going to be from the top going down. It's still shiny, it's still wet from the ink on there, so I'm going to do one little drop of the darker color. Being mindful to take my brush all the way to the top of the cup and down. Don't come in like this or you're going to have little splotches that you don't want. Now I'm making a spot right here where I'm going to do a knot. It's going to be a knot right there. Okay, so this one went from the top down, so I'm going to flip it, and this one's going to be from the bottom. I had a paintbrush in my mouth, sorry about that. I haven't messed with the India inks yet, so I can't vouch for those. So for anybody who has, that is good information. See how the color starts building up the more layers you put on? And with these lighter ones, it's even easier because you don't have to worry about it being too dark. Hi, Beth. Okay, so I'm going to do a knot. Show you guys how I do the knot. Let's do it. Let's do it right here. Okay, so for the knot, I'm gonna have to point you guys down because I have to hold the cup here. Ooh, I have to hold the cup straight like this. If that makes sense. So you hold the cup straight And then I take and I do 1 drop or 2 if that's what falls out of there. It's not a big deal. And I kind of let it simmer for a second. And then I brush it. Going lighter with my brush as I work my way out. And that's what creates the point. I let that dry. And then I'll go in with, I'll use the teak wood so you guys can see with the regular alcohol ink. I'm going to use teak wood. Let's see what I'm doing here. Teak wood. Gotta hold my cup really straight, you guys, so I'm sorry if you can't really tell what I'm doing, but carefully place 1 drop. I kind of move the cup a little bit to encourage that to go where I want it to be. Blow on it just a little. And then use your brush. If you use your brush too soon, you're just going to have a big mess. Okay, now that that darker is in there, I'm blowing on it to dry it in between layers, you guys, because if it's already wet underneath, it's just going to turn into a puddle. So I'm drying in between. Now I'm just using the light color. I put 3 little drops on there this time so that I can kind of smooth oh, you guys can't see. Son of a gun. I'm sorry. I'm taking the brush and I'm going right around the outside of where my knot is. Just with whatever's left on the brush. And I'm kind of blending that a little bit. Okay, the last thing that I'll do once I have my knot all like how I want it to look is 1 last little drop of the dark color. I just pat it with a towel there, guys. I'm sorry, I know you couldn't see what I was doing, but I had to do it quickly so that I didn't ruin the cup. And that's what gives it those variations, like this one. See the drops in there? That's what makes it look like the actual wood knots. Sorry guys, I know that was super awkward, but the way I had to do the knot on there, I didn't have any other choice. Okay, so then this is where the spray bottle of the isopropyl alcohol comes in, because once I have it pretty much the way I want it to look, once I'm satisfied with the different variations of color on there, I take my spray bottle, see here, take my spray bottle and from pretty far away I spritz it. That's what's going to give those little dots. It's going to make it look like it's been rained on, like it's weathered. Now I have also taken some of the mix and I put it right onto a piece of parchment paper. It's alcohol. Dip my brush into it and then flick my brush. Have you guys gotten any type of effects from that before? Flicking your brush, you get little speckles. Just give you a different look on the cup. Spray some alcohol down, dilutes it even more. Then you can just flick your brush and get your little pieces on there. In the spray bottle is, I bought it like this, look, it's Rite Aid brand, 91% isopropyl alcohol. That is how I did this guy. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but basically the same thing. Not too difficult, just the flipping and dripping. That's the most important thing, is alternate. So start on this side and drip down, and then drip down, back and forth, so that you get those nice variations back and forth. That's what gives it that true cut from wood look. Okay, now the bottom. So what I do on the bottom, I hope you guys can see. I just kind of drizzle the ink. And then I blow on it until it's dry, just a little bit, just a little bit. So it's not running anymore. And then I spray some alcohol onto my parchment paper out of my spray bottle. I spray some alcohol on there and get my brush really wet with alcohol. And then I just kind of spread around those colors. Using a little bit more of the gray mixture. That will mix with the brown. Okay, so when you have the alcohol on the bottom, you can see my face, blow on it so that it's not running anymore, but it's still wet. And then if you do a drip and blow on that, do another drip, repeat the process, blow on that, and just keep doing that until you get the layered effect that you're going for personally. You can also take of course I don't have one handy. A thin paintbrush, and you can go through while it's still wet, and you can do your circles if you want. It's still wet, so it's all gonna fall into each other. Doesn't have to be done this way. You can do the bottom however you see fit, but that's just an idea. Gotta let that dry. Okay, guys. Ugh. I think we're all done. Look, I'm covered in glitter. I hope that I covered everything that you guys were wanting to know about this cup. I could go back in if I want to and add some more variations of color. It hasn't been sealed, so like if I wanted to, I feel like I'm missing, nope, there we are. I can go back in and I don't want to set this down and ruin the bottom of it. I can add some drips if I add drips to it, especially with the lighter color. It's just going to add more variations. So you can keep playing with this process. I'm going to put a little bit more. So I put the dark on there, and then I put the light right back over the dark so that I could blend it. Ta-da! That is a mix of brown Alumilite dye and gray acrylic paint in alcohol. I think it's all done. I'm going to quit messing with it, because if I keep messing with it, then I'll mess it up. Now I just need to figure out what I want to put on this one. Thanks for joining me, guys. I haven't gone live in this group before, so that was new for me. I'll be moving this tutorial over to Tumblr tutorials, just in case anybody in there didn't catch it. I'm going to take off and finish up some cups, because I have to finish up that cup order for my mom. But You guys are great. I hope I answered all of your questions. I'm just looking really quick to see if there's anything I need to address before I get off of here. I will go back through and address any of the comments that I might have missed. Okay, guys, have a good night. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any additional questions. Just comment and I'll get back to you. Bye.